Hi. Do you notice that every time I do one of these videos, A, my hair looks a little funny, B, my glasses reflect all the light so you can't really see my eyes, and how can you trust somebody whose eyeballs you can't see, and C, I've got green on. This is some sort of soccer team that my son gave me a shirt about. This is a message coming out to my writ 201 students. Miss you guys. Hope you're all well. And an update about the descriptions of persons. I really enjoyed reading those. Man, there was a lot of nice feeling. You guys have wonderful people in your lives that you had a good time describing. So I really have appreciated those. I finished section 8 of writ 201, so if you're in section 8, I have 2 classes of 201. So if you're in section 8, finished yours. If you're in section 5, gonna do that in the next 24 hours. I promise. Meanwhile, if you're looking at the calendar and remembering your duties to this writ 201 course, you know that on Friday, April 3rd, you have a 1 to 1.5 page description of a place that's due. Description of a place. Yeah, that's coming up. Yeah. Why are you doing this anyway? Well, first of all, you want to develop your ability to express yourself. In this case, to write, not only about what you see, but also about what you feel. In this case, we're taking this notion of how do you feel, and we're locating it in a space, a place with a name. Could be a name that you have for a particular spot on the planet that you like to hang out at. And it's a name that only you and your buddies know. Or is it squad? Only you and your squad know. It could be a place that's like America, Montana, Powell County, the courthouse. Doesn't matter. When you go into a place, you get a feel from it, you get a vibe from it, you get a spirit from it. Don't you think? Do you believe that? Do you believe that places have spirit? There's a spirit of a place? Have you ever been in a place that charmed you, let's say, or spooked you, or intrigued you, or bored you, or turned you off? Ew, let's get out of here. And then someone says, why? Why do you want to leave? I don't know, man. I don't feel right about this place. I mean, I think we all respond to the spirit of place. Now, your job is to capture the spirit of a place. When you look in writing textbooks, they call that the dominant impression. It's a very academic sounding way to talk about the spirit, the feel, the vibe of a place. How would you artfully, because you want to do this artfully, right? You want to do this in a way that's engaging. You want to do this in a way that's interesting. In a way, you want to use words to conjure up a description of a place that matches the intensity and the particularity of your experience of the place, right? So how would you do that? That's art. How would you artfully write about a place so that you could recreate what charmed or spooked or intrigued or bored or turned you off about a place? I got an idea. I'm a writing instructor. Here's what I think. If you really want to do that powerfully and effectively, you would never say the words charmed, spooked, intrigued, bored, or turned off. You would say that word, or those words I just listed, you would say those without ever mentioning them. Never, ever, ever mention the word that you want to leave with your reader. Let them discover it. That's the beauty of being a reader, is participating in what someone's writing. You do want to convey the feelings of being charmed, spooked, intrigued, bored, or turned off, but you would just do that in a different way. In D2L, in content, under the folder description of places, you will find a wonderful document by James Baldwin called Fifth Avenue Uptown. He's talking about the island of Manhattan, New York. Upper Manhattan is the domain of black people, and it has a very checkered history of being habitable and inhabitable. It's just a tough place to live. Rampant unemployment, rampant despair. So he wants to convey what it was like for him to grow up on Fifth Avenue uptown. I don't think it's called Fifth Avenue anymore. It's called Martin Luther King Boulevard or something like that. It's been renamed. He was writing in the 1930s and 40s. Great writer, James Baldwin. An amazing writer. Look at what he says. There is a housing project standing. This is the first two sentences. And he's trying to create a spirit of place. He's trying to make you, whoever you are, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're Asian, whether you're white American, whatever you are, male, female, other gendered, doesn't matter. He's trying to make you feel what it's like to be in Fifth Avenue uptown when he grew up there. There is a housing project standing now where the house in which we grew up once stood. And one of those stunted city trees is snarling where our doorway used to be. This is on the rehabilitated side of the avenue. So I bold-faced some words. Housing project. If you're a rural Montanan, you probably don't know what that means. Unless you're from a city that had housing projects, you don't get it. Housing project, for those people who lived in them, has a negative connotation, a bad meaning. Because the housing project is a place where they just warehoused people who could not be employed because the world hated them. So when he says housing project, it's not a good thing. It is a place where despair was concentrated. That is what was put up by the government in a supposed act of benevolence to help poor people, but it actually concentrated their misery. So he is not saying it's miserable. He just says the words housing project, and he hopes that you get it. The next bolded word is stunted. Stunted city trees. Stunted. Why? Why? Because this stuff stunts your growth. Smoking cigarettes when you're a pregnant mother stunts the growth of your child. Smoking cigarettes when you're young stunts your own growth. This was a word that I grew up with all the time in the 1960s and 70s when I grew up. Smoking stunts your growth. People said that all the time because there were public service commercials on the television saying that it will stunt your growth. You don't want to stunt your growth. So the word stunted had a powerful emotional or a connotative meaning. Snarling where our doorway used to be. Snarling. There's a tree growing where the doorway used to be. Ooh, because it's just snarling, because what else can you do there? And all of this, he says, is on the rehabilitated side of the street, of the avenue. You should see the other side. Rehabilitated. Rehabilitation. There was a gigantic social movement that involved the efforts of white progressives, black militants, shocked middle-class people until they understood that rehabilitation was kind of a good thing. The government put money into rehabilitating ghettos, rehabilitating bad places where minorities were living. And here he's saying the rehabilitated side of the avenue is a place with stunted growth, snarling trees, and concentrated grief. Powerful if you can read the code. If you can read the code. What I mean by code is connotation. You want to choose words for their connotations. That is, like, all words have besides their dictionary meanings, all words have their real world meanings. Like when you say them in conversation, you're going to get some kind of a feeling from them. But the dictionary maybe won't account for the connotation. Connotation noun. An idea or feeling that that a word invokes in addition to its literal or primary meaning. So in other words, what is the life? What's the personality? What's the feeling content of the word? Not what you find in the dictionary, but what is it that when you say a word that makes you feel something. So when you are writing your descriptions of place, please don't tell me what the dominant impression is that you were trying to create. Just create the dominant impression by choosing words that suggest it. Suggestion. Be suggestive. Don't do it directly, do it indirectly. Be an artist. An artist does not tell you, this is what my painting means, this is why I did this is why I put this in my canvas. An artist doesn't do that. If an artist does that, he's not an artist, he's an advertiser. So anyway, good luck with that. It's due Friday, April 3rd. I hope everybody's doing well. Text me with questions. Be well. Be kind to others. Be kind to yourselves. Have fun. Tell some jokes. I went to the bank today. Somebody told me a joke. Did you hear about the giant who threw up? I was like, did I hear about the giant who threw up? No, I did not hear about the giant who threw up. Really? It's all over town.